This act, still is a piece of direct action, and that became very clear to me at the opening when people who knew nothing about HIV or AIDS or the history of it walked in and engaged in the work, and everything was alive again and it was not involved. So to me, that speaks very clearly. I think that, I think that it's very hard to imagine the same reasons that ran us aground in the mid-90s about the language you'd use, or the kind of polemical issues, or the cultural issues surrounding AIDS are so thorny and so complicated that and to define ourselves in some other way apart from AIDS as the reason for us to exist seems odd, I think, to most of us. So yeah, I don't know that you're going to see a whole new wave of Grand Fury posters, basically. But I do think that there was even, this should shed light in the neuroses and the lunacy of Grand Fury. The word retrospective gave us all the allergies. Yeah. Because it was like, oh my God, a retrospective, we're embalmed in amber. Help us. And so, we're a survey. I mean, whatever, who cares? It's a retrospective. But I do think that there was something in the thinking of that, and that made me end up feeling good about what happened with the show and the catalog and the rest of it, is that a live wire went out. And that live wire still has energy, and it can be leaned against and is an example, and the work is all in the public domain, so steal it all you like and use it and place it as you want, borrow it and give it to whoever you want. And all that's optimistic. All that, the work isn't a dead thing. It still has energy and life, so I think that's a key thing. And I personally speaking, I would just love to see people put down their Blackberries and have meetings once a week and have eye contact and do what we did and make work in the way that work was made, which I think is a particular kind of social media, is a particular kind of social interaction that's very valuable.
I think also when we began to explore the possibilities of doing the show, we had a very sort of rigid set of ideas about what we would and wouldn't do, but as we began to roll up our sleeves, we realized that we had an opportunity to experiment with our work in a way that a curator might be, nervous about doing. So we set out to fuck with it, and, we were experimenting with social proportion and questions about domesticizing this work in a gallery setting and how could we address that and circle back on it. And the reason I'm bringing this up is that I think we actually did create work together. It was this show. So I feel like we reinserted ourselves in it, and this show is very much touched by our hand, and no one else would have done this show. So in a way, we're still working together.
Oh, do I have to answer that too?
Yes.
I'm curious, yeah.
Yes.
I don't know. I think I'm not so gung-ho on the we're going to come back, we're going to do something. I kind of feel like that was 20-some years ago. Like, I'm a totally different person than I was. I'm not doing it again. I'm doing something else. I'm dealing with a different world. I'm dealing with different contexts, but I'm on a different trajectory.
Yeah, I think that one of the things that sort of Grand Fury was never interested in was becoming an institution. And so, I remember once at a meeting I mentioned, we were talking about what we could do, and I said, well, what we could do is sort of, since a lot of people actually don't know who members of Grand Fury is, I said we could all pick one person and have them, and everyone pick one person, say, okay, now you're Grand Fury, and have a whole new set of people do the work.
Yeah, they didn't want to.
Yeah, nobody wanted to. It didn't. It went over like a fart in church. So, but for me, I think there's the work in terms of work, activist work and artwork about AIDS needs to happen. And it needs to happen in a way that engages the public again. I don't think that Grand Fury have to be the people that do it. You know, so I don't think that's necessary. I think that the same way that we came together to do the work, anyone can come together in a collective and do the work themselves. So I don't foresee us. I mean, we may actually even start to socialize, you know, at Grand Fury, you know, which is something we never do. But aside from that, I don't see us actually coming together to work anymore.
But can we agree that